Hi everyone, my name is Eva and the animal I picked to do my nutrition project on was the starfish. The starfish is from phylum Echinodermata and class Asteroidea. My first slide is on the natural history of the starfish. So the starfish can live in many different habitats such as rocky shores, tidal pools, docks, bay bottoms, and the ocean. The starfish is often a solitary creature and it eats as often as needed depending on its size, not so much the life stage, more just the size. Speaking of life stages, there are several different life stages. There's the gamete when it's first born, and then there's the bipinnaria, which is basically just whenever the larva becomes symmetrical bilaterally. After a few days or a few weeks, this life cycle turns to the brachiolaria, and after that, it goes to the adult stage where it is able to reproduce asexually as a hermaphrodite or through regeneration or sexually as well. In its natural habitat, it mainly just moves around as it pleases on its 2 feet to eat, and like I said before, it doesn't really interact with other starfish. So the starfish has a complete digestive system. The system kind of starts with the tube feet. The tube feet are used to feel around for organisms to eat, and then they pass that food up towards the mouth. From that point, the cardiac stomach actually extends from the mouth and captures the food and starts digestion, breaking down through enzymes. After it's digested a little, the food is then passed inside to the pyloric stomach, where enzymes are released from pyloric ceca in the arms and vitamins are absorbed. Then in the small intestine, there is additional breakdown and absorption of any nutrients that it can pull out before the leftover material goes to the anus for excretion. I have a picture up in the corner. It's a little drawing of the different parts of the starfish, including the intestine, the two stomachs, the pyloric ceca, and the mouth. The only thing not pictured on there is the anus, but the anus would run out from the intestine. So moving on to the starfish diet, as I mentioned before, it feeds by feeling around with the tube feet to find the food before the cardiac stomach extends, secretes enzymes, starts digestion, at which point the food is taken back inside the body to continue digestion. As for what it feeds on a variety of little marine creatures, including clams and oysters, sea dollars, mussels, snails, some injured fish that are slower and easier to catch, as shown in my picture up in the top left-hand corner. Some starfish will also feed on decomposing plant and animal matter, as well as sponges, plankton, and coral. It really depends on the type of starfish overall, but in general, these are some things that the starfish does feed on. Our starfish that we had in the marine aquarium would eat a variety of seaweed sheets as well as fish frenzy, which was actually made up of some fish, shrimp, and other items that the starfish would eat naturally. So this was my slide on balancing the diet for a starfish. I chose two food sources, the fish frenzy, which has a CP of 18%, as well as seaweed sheets, which has a crude protein content of 33%. So the reason I chose those two is because it is what we feed our starfish in the marine lab, and they are a food combination overall of protein, energy, um, minerals, and vitamins. So to balance that, I found that they need about 20% crude protein in their diet. This was based on the standard amount listed for a carnivore, which I pulled from the Otter Nutrition Guide provided for us. I balanced it out using the above food sources as well as including 5% for supplements, and I came up with 19.33% fish frenzy, and 80.67% seaweed sheets, as well as the 5% supplements for a complete diet. As you can see, I also have the calcium phosphorus ratio. Uh, these numbers were hard to find for both of them. The silver side fish was used in kind of replacement as the fish frenzy, because that is one of the main ingredients of it, to get the levels for phosphorus and calcium. And as you can see, I calculated everything out and got a ratio of 2.23 to 0.48. So I said that supplements for phosphorus would be added to help balance out that ratio. So going off of my diet plan in the previous slide, there are some noted wild versus zoo variations, such as, in the wild, the starfish is going to eat as often as it wants, and it's going to eat whatever it can find. It's not going to be too picky. Whereas in zoos, it's going to have like a pre-planned diet, just as in the marine lab, where we fed it just fish frenzy in the seaweed sheets, torn up into small pieces, and it was kept with marine invertebrates and not fish, so it didn't have like an option for any like food enrichment to eat any fish or anything. Um, there's also some slight variations in the life stages, mainly in the bipinnaria. That stage, they're going to eat small planktonic organisms that they can find, and then the brachiolaria is actually not going to feed at all until it transitions into that adult form. So this slide just has some additional fun facts that I found during my research. So there are over 2,000 species of starfish, and the five-armed starfish is the most common type, but some have a lot more arms, 10, 20, even 30 arms. As you can see in the top right picture, that one has way more than 5 arms. And then the bottom picture shows a variant of a 5-armed starfish that is a blue starfish. So some more interesting facts: they have a lifespan of up to 35 years. They can regenerate parts of their body, and some species can regenerate from just an arm. And they don't have a brain or any blood. Their blood, to say, is just filtered seawater pumping through their water vascular system. And a starfish also has eye spots, but they are colorblind. So this last slide just has all the resources I used in my PowerPoint. As you probably noticed while you were going through, there's some superscript numbers on all the slides, in either the slide as a whole or in different parts of the slide. Those numbers correspond with the numbers on this slide. So if you're interested in looking up more about something, look for the number from the slide that corresponds onto this slide.